Moje ime je lepo vas pozdravljam na tem večeru, posvečenem sreči. Posvečenem pravzaprav tudi tistemu, za kar si vsi ves čas prizadevamo, izkustva česar pa se vsi tudi vsaj malo bojimo. Nekako smo prepričani, da izkustvo sreče mora slediti nekako padec v izkustvo nesreče. Pa je to res? Pravzaprav ne. In velika knjiga o sreči nas prepričuje o tem nasprotnem pogledu. 100 izvedencev za srečo v največ 1000 besedah ponuja nekaj rešitev za trajno občutenje vsaj zadovoljstva, če že ne sreče. Izvedencev za srečo? Verjetno vas veliko meni, da je to neka novodobna kategorija, pa pravzaprav ni tako. Izvedenci za srečo so na nek način bili že številni antični filozofi. In če se zazremo v njihove spise, ugotovimo, kako raznoliki so od nekdaj pogledi na pot do osebne sreče. In zato se za nekaj minut predstavimo za nekaj več kot 2000 let nazaj v preteklost in si poglejmo le majhen krog 3 mož okoli Sokrata. Torej, najprej veliki filozof Sokrat. Mnogo je poročilo o njegovem nenavadnem, včasih tudi ekscesnem obnašanju. Ure meditiranja, asketsko bosonogo pešačenje v najhujši zimi, po drugi strani pa tudi nebrzdano pitje ogromnih količin alkohola. Neko notranja stabilnost pa mu je vedno znova zagotovila vera v razum in dokazljivo resnico. Njegov recept za zadovoljno življenje je imel samo 3 točke. Skušaj spoznati resnico, trudi se, da bo tvoja duša kar najboljša. To pa boš dosegel, če boš sledil 4 vrednotam: pogumu, pravičnosti, zmernosti in preudarnosti. Njegova učenca sta imela popolnoma drugačni navodili za srečo. Njegov učenec Aristipp iz Cirene je že kot filozof prvi razvijal sistem sreče. Velja za začetnika hedonizma, prisegal je na življenje v luksuzu in na materialne užitke. Drugi učenec, Antisten iz Aten, pa je razvil filozofijo sreče zelo podobno misli sodobnih indijskih jogijev, kitajskih taoistov in tudi budistov. Preprosto, skromno, naravno življenje in umsko delo. Vse to naj bi zagotovilo notranjo harmonijo in srečo. Ker pa danes govorimo pravzaprav o knjigi, ki so jo v dar prejeli tudi številni visoki politiki, voditelji držav, se mi zdi nekako primerno, da omenimo vsaj še nekoga, vsaj še enega misleca, ki je razvijal o sreči. Živel je v renesansi, bil je državnik na dvoru kralja Ludvika 19., to je bil Michel de Montaigne. Oče modernega skepticizma, kot ga tudi imenujejo, zaradi tega, ker se je vedno spraševal, kaj sploh vem, je za osnovo sreče postavil pravo mero. Zapisal je: mislim, da je enako narobe, če zavračamo strasti in poželenje, kot če smo jim preveč podvrženi. In naj bo ta zelo moderna misel tudi priložnost, da besedo predam glavnemu uredniku Mladinske knjige, ki je poskrbela za prevod te Bormansove uspešnice, velike knjige o sreči, Bojanu Šlivju.
Dober večer, spoštovane goste, spoštovani goste, še posebej gospod Bormans in gospod Andrej Avsec, gospod, ki je zbral vse te prispevke in jih uredil v izvirni knjigi, in gospa, ki je prispevala slovenski prispevek na temo sreče. Sreča nas verjetno vse zanima, ampak po tem filozofskemu uvodu bi težko dodal še kakšne zelo modre in poglobljene misli. Mogoče bi povedal še posebej, zakaj smo se pri Mladinski knjigi odločili prav za to knjigo. Sveda na trgu je veliko knjig, ki govorijo o sreči, ki delijo napotke za srečo tako ali drugače. Med njimi je veliko prav gotovo zanimivih in dobrih. Velikokrat pa vendarle pri teh priročnikih gre za deljenje nekih naukov, nekih navodil v eni osebi, od enega guruja. Zato se nam je še posebej zanimivo zdelo, da zberemo prispevke oziroma da objavimo to knjigo, ki je zbrala prispevke znanstvenikov z celega sveta. In zanimivo se nam je zdelo, da seveda so pogledi na srečo lahko zelo različni v različnih delih sveta. Pa vendarle nekaj skupnih imenovalcev mislim, da zelo hitro najdemo. Tisto, kar sem jaz potegnil iz te knjige kot nek tak skupni imenovalec, je seveda, da sreče se ne da kupiti. Razen knjige o sreči, seveda to lahko kupite, če je še niste. Sreče se ne da kupiti in druga taka zadeva, ki nam jo sicer nekako poveže zdrava kmečka pamet, ampak se, mislim, da lepo potrdila v tej knjigi je, da seveda potrebujemo določeno količino denarja, ampak potrebujemo denarja toliko, da zadostimo svojim osnovnim potrebam, pa še malo zraven, recimo še kakšno potovanje in kaj podobnega. Ne? Ampak potem seveda sreča ne raste več sorazmerno s količino denarja. Ne dela? Torej niste slišali ničesar? Zdaj dela. Ja, torej bom ponovil, ne, nisem se naučil. Ne, ni treba, v redu, sedno govorim na glas. Skratka, poanta, potrebujemo tudi, za srečo potrebujemo tudi denar, vendar toliko, da ga imamo za osnovne potrebe, pa še malo zraven. Od tam naprej, seveda, sreča ne raste sorazmerno s količino denarja. Tako da najbogatejši ljudje niso nujno srečni ljudje. Pogosto je obratno. In seveda, še nekaj morda, ne samo denar, marsikaj, zdaj pa res gledam. Pomembni so tudi odnosi. Vse o tem bo še govor, ampak to pač sem nekako jaz videl kot eno tako poanto. Pomembni so odnosi do drugih ljudi, pomembna so prijateljstva in to so tisti nauki, ki jih lahko potegnemo pač iz takšne knjige. Verjamem, da bo vsak potegnil nek svoj nauk ali več takih in da bomo vendarle lažje našli pot do sreče tudi s pomočjo te knjige. Hvala.
Torej, samozavest koristi dobremu počutju, oholost pa nikakor ne. To je misel, ki je najbolj poudarjena v besedilu, ki ga je za Bormansovo knjigo prispevala edina slovenska avtorica, docentka za občo psihologijo na ljubljanski filozofski fakulteti dr. Avtor. Lepo pozdravljeni. Vaše raziskovalno delo obsega tudi pozitivno psihologijo. To je nekako relativno nova znanstvena veda. Kaj pravzaprav pomeni pozitivna psihologija in kaj je v bistvu ozadje nastanka te vede?
Ja, pozitivna psihologija je v bistvu nekakšno gibanje znotraj psihologije. Zdaj, od leta 2000 je organizirano v smislu nekih posebnih specialnih znanstvenih revij, ki objavlja samo raziskave v zvezi s področjem sreče, zadovoljstva in drugih pozitivnih konstruktov. Konference se od takrat pač odvijajo zgolj na to temo. Zdaj, seveda bi vse te ideje, glavne ideje lahko že v antični Grčiji našli, srednjeveških filozofih. Tudi ne moramo reči, da psihologija pred letom 2000 ni raziskovala pozitivnih vidikov psihologije oziroma posameznikovega funkcioniranja. Recimo, humanistični psihologi so že v 60-ih letih poudarjali posameznikovo osebnostno rast, smisel, samoaktualizacijo in podobno, ampak v bistvu nikoli ni bilo to predmet raziskovanja obširnega, ne? Tako da zdaj se pa pač to precej bolj raziskuje, se poudarja. Mogoče je pomemben ta pozitivna psihologija predvsem za stroko samo, ker če gremo pogledati članke, do nedavnega je bilo razmerje med tistimi, ki so obravnavali pozitivne vidike posameznikovega funkcioniranja in tiste, ki so obravnavali negativne vidike, 1:17. Skratka, 17-krat več je bilo člankov v zvezi z patologijo, motnjami, problemi, kar se zdi smiselno, ker je pač najprej treba pomagati nekomu, ki ima resne probleme. No, ampak zdaj nekako bi rekla, smo lahko šli tle, da se imamo čas ukvarjati tudi s preventivo oziroma s tistimi posamezniki, ki sicer nimajo resnih problemov, ampak imajo željo, da bi pač napredovali v življenju, bili bolj srečni.
Zdaj, psihologija kot znanost je pravzaprav nekje vmes med naravoslovnimi in družboslovnimi vedami in kar se je meni zelo recimo zanimivo v branju te knjige, je to, da se večkrat poudari neka ta v bistvu biološka, genetska zasnova, genetska predispozicija za srečnost ali nesrečnost. Kaj je pravzaprav to? Zakaj so nekateri ljudje bolj nagnjeni k temu, da so srečni?
Ja, podobno kot pri ostalih osebnostnih lastnostih je tudi sreča predvsem doživljanje pozitivnih emocij, doživljanje negativnih emocij, genetsko predeterminirano tam okoli 50%. Zdaj, a je to pravično ali ne, se pač ne bomo ukvarjali, enako kot lahko rečemo za inteligentnost, ne, so nekateri bolj inteligentni, drugi manj inteligentni. Ampak potem še vedno ostane, ne, recimo, če so neke življenjske okoliščine, ne vem, poročenost, denar, pač v kakšni državi živimo, doprinesejo še 10%, recimo tam nekje maksimalno, ne, potem še vedno ostane 40%, ko vendar nekaj lahko naredimo. Ne. Tako da bi rekla, tako kot pri telesni teži, ne, ki deloma pač genetsko predeterminirana, imajo nekateri srečo, da so vitki, ne, vse ostali pa, če želijo biti vitki, se morajo pač stalno malo truditi, ne, in od tukaj naprej je grozljivo veliko diet, ne, in enako lahko rečemo pri sreči grozljivo veliko receptov, kako jo doseči. Ne.
Obstajajo tudi že kakšne prav terapije za to doseči srečo? Kakšni so mogoče vaša navodila oziroma vaša vodila za to biti srečen?
Nimam recepta. In ga nočem dati. Pa ne, da ga nočem dati, ga v resnici nimam. Ne. V bistvu, ko enkrat začneš to malo bolj gledati, študirati, je zadeva rata tako kompleksna, ne, da toliko je dejavnikov, souvplivanja, ne, tako da enostavno tiste recepte dajati je problematično. Se mi zdi pa pomembno to, ne, da smo ljudje različni. Ne. In to recimo, no, sem tudi poudarila v svojem prispevku, ne, da pač dejansko ne moramo dati nekega recepta, ki bi veljal za vse, ne, ker se razlikujemo v osebnostnih lastnostih, ker so nekateri pač genetsko determinirani, da pogosteje doživljajo pozitivna čustva, recimo ekstravertni posamezniki in neuroticistični posamezniki determinirani, da pogosteje doživljajo negativna čustva, in če že iz tega izhajamo, je jasno, da pač recepti ne morejo biti enaki. Tako da, ne vem, v knjigi je ogromno receptov, ne, tako da mislim, da če pač posameznik odkrit in ima dejansko željo nekaj narediti sabo, ne, da bo našel pač in da bo napredoval.
Vi ste tudi slovenska predstavnica v tem v bistvu mednarodnem združenju za pozitivno psihologijo, strokovnem združenju. Koliko so v bistvu kulturno določena ta vodila za biti srečen? Danes je svet seveda povezan, neke kulturne vsebine se spremljajo po vsem svetu, ali še vedno obstajajo neke zelo kulturno specifični pogledi na srečo?
Ja, zdaj, če pogledate kar konkretno v tej knjigi, ne, so pač predstavniki 50 različnih kultur in se zadeve precej ponavljajo. No. Recimo, povsod se ponavljajo pozitivni medosebni odnosi. Skratka, če izhajamo recimo, da je prvi del, ne, sreče, recimo zadovoljitev nekih temeljnih psiholoških potreb, ne, ki so tudi deloma determinirane, ne, genetsko, je potem recimo pripadnost nekomu, biti intimen z nekom, ne, pač univerzalna potreba, ki jo pač moramo zadovoljiti za to, da smo srečni. Ne. Zdaj, so pa določene specifike, ampak se mi zdi tako, če gledate pač prav iz te knjige, ne, da ni nekih strašno velikih razlik. So pa seveda poudarki, imamo individualistične kulture, imamo kolektivistične kulture in glede na to so seveda rahlo drugačne vrednote, ne, in načini, kako priti do njih.
Ker ste ravno omenili individualistične in kolektivistične, tudi skupnosti oziroma kulture, ali je neka resnica v tem, da so ljudje v tradicionalnih skupnostih bolj srečni?
Ja, jaz bi spet poudarila individualne razlike. Ne. Dejansko tradicionalne skupnosti omogočijo precej boljšo socialno podporo. Torej, imate nekoga, na katerega se boste naslonili, vam bojo pomagali in podobno. Ne. Recimo v individualističnih kulturah je pogostejša recimo depresivnost. Ne. Po drugi strani pa posameznik, ki je, bi rekla, ne vem, recimo bolj umetniško naravnan, želi pač izraziti svoje posebnosti, značilnosti, skratka ima pa precej resnejše probleme v kolektivističnih kulturah. Ne. Tako da je pač spet odvisno od posameznika. Nekateri so nesrečni tukaj, nekateri tam. Ne. Tako da...
In mogoče preden prepustimo besedo gospodu Bormansu, kako ste se vi znašli s svojim prispevkom v tej knjigi?
Ja, a ja mu ne prevajajo. Okay.
I don't understand a word. It's okay. Have you been telling something bad about me?
Yes, a bit.
Okay.
Sorry.
Makes me happy.
V bistvu ne vem točno, no, ampak se mi dozdeva, da je pač, ne vem, zelo velikokrat dobimo zelo kmalu, če recimo sodelujemo aktivno na konferencah, ne, da dobivamo razne sporočila in maile in predvidevam, da z te konference, ne, tako da možno je, da iz konference mogoče, pa zato, ker sem pač predstavnica v Evropski zvezi pozitivne psihologije, je pač prišel do tega.
In torej sedaj predlagam, da besedo predamo kar tistemu, ki stoji. On will invite you to deliver the key speech of this evening. So please do tell us in 45 minutes what the secret of happiness is.
In 45 minutes? I'm so glad that I didn't understand a word of your talk, but I understand that you have been telling everything that's in the book, so I can tell something else now. Let's do something else. There is a interpretation for those who don't understand English. Lucia, are you ready to start it? Okay, you telling this story in Slovenian? I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. I was talking last week to a father, and his father had a son of 18 years old, and he had a terrible accident, the son, and he was in coma. And the father visited his son in total panic, and he told me, we were standing next to his bed, and he didn't move anymore. He was in coma. And then, at once, he heard the voice of my wife, his mother, and a tear came out of his eye, and the doctor said, there is hope. This tear is a signal of hope. And the father told me, I've never in my life been happier than this very moment seeing this one tear. Talking about happiness, if someone tells me that one small tear is the happiest moment of his life, what are we talking about? I'm living in Belgium in a small village, and next to my village we had a terrible accident this year. 17 school children died in a school bus coming from Switzerland. So I don't know whether you've heard about that, but it was a terrible accident and a terrible trauma for the whole village. And I was the only one who was allowed in that school for the National Minute of Silence. And we were standing there with the kids and the parents and the teachers in silence. Not for 1 minute, but for several minutes. And after that, we've been talking with the parents about happiness. And one of the mothers told me, I have two possibilities. My son is dead, and I decide to stay in the house or to come outside the house. When I stay inside the house, I close the windows, I don't talk to anyone. When I come out of the house and I talk to people and I start smiling, I see my son smiling in the clouds. And when I stay inside, I see the bus. That's my choice. Do I want to see the bus, or do I want to see him smile? This is what happiness is about. Life is not a party. If I open your hearts, every one of you has a problem, has some sorrow, has some pain. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not traveling the country in a car full of balloons. There is some sadness, and we have a right on sadness. There is a right on sadness. You don't have to be happy. But I wanted to know, are there certain things that can make us happy? Not about sunflowers and sunsets and balloons, but what do we know in science, psychology, sociology, economics? What do we know about it? So I asked 100 professors in 50 countries what they know about happiness. I didn't know that there were professors who were studying happiness. Well, there are 3,000 of them in the world. And I selected 100, and in this book they give us a mirror on what we know about happiness. But not only a mirror, the book is also a window. It's a mirror of reflection and a window to come into action. And so many people have asked me, I've traveled the world now as an ambassador of happiness and quality of life for the whole year. I've met more than 50,000 people, I've done more than 100 interviews. It's the first time I'm in Slovenia. You're very great people, and people I met here, it was wonderful. And you're doing very well in the statistics on happiness, in fact. You're doing well. You're sort of 6.9 or 10, 7 or 10, something like that. You're doing well. Italy, France, Japan, they're all doing worse. So there are some possibilities in your country to be happy. And nevertheless, I meet quite a lot of people as well who start complaining about everything. Well, that's the same in all of our countries. But we can change certain things. And don't believe, if someone tells you that he will give you the secret of happiness, don't believe him. Don't believe him. He's a charlatan. He's a charlatan. He's lying. It doesn't exist. There is no one way to happiness. But we know quite a lot of things about a happier life. And a happier life is not only about my life, it's about us. It's about society. So I'm quite glad that these days I meet politicians in Slovenia as well, and journalists, to talk about the reflection and to say it's not only about my individual happiness, it's about social life. It's about others' happiness as well. And we know that, I didn't understand the damn word, but I thought they were talking about genetics as well. Well, we know from psychology that 50%, 30 to 50% of our happiness and optimism is genetic. We get it from our parents, our grandparents. We can't change anything from that. That's genetical. You know these families where they're always whistling and singing, and these families who are always complaining. You know these families? One family is always yours, the other is your mother-in-law, but that's another story. But we know this, we feel this, you feel this immediately. It's 50%, 30 to 50%. 10% is due to the circumstances. That's the job we have, the car we have, the garden, the dog, the thing we are focusing on every day. That's only 10% of our happiness. Leaves 40%. 40% is left for what is in between our ears. That's the mindset. That's the way we look at things. Don't you believe that happy people experience more happy things? No. We all experience more or less the same in our life. But happy people succeed in giving a double weight to the positive things, and pessimistic people, negative people, unhappy people give a double weight to the negative things. That's the choice we all have. And when does this work as well? Let's see. The happier life, the better world. And let's start with a game. I'm asking you a question. You have 15 seconds to print in your head a happy moment in your life. Just don't take your wedding party or the birth of your children, that's a cliche. Just take some happy moment in your life. Are you there? Does everybody? It's private. I'm not going to ask you that moment. It's for you. It's private. Okay, you have it? Everybody take a picture of that happy moment in your life. You have this? Everybody has? Are you ready? Then I'll give you 4 characteristics of your happy moment. And you count how many of these characteristics do you recognize in your happy moment. Okay? First characteristic is there's no money involved. It didn't cost very much, your happy moment. If that is true for you, you count 1. Maybe it has cost some money, but not that very much. Second thing, it is a kind of surprise. It is unexpected. It's something out of routine. If that is true for you, you count 2. If that's not true, you don't count anything. Third thing, you're not alone on that picture. There are other people on the picture. And if you're alone, you're thinking about other people at that moment, and that makes you happy. If that's true, count 3. And the fourth thing is, you get some kind of positive feedback. You get an applause, an appreciation. Someone says you're good in it. You get a kiss, something like that. Count now, how many of these 4 characteristics do you recognize in your happy moment? 1, 2, 3, or 4. Have you done it? Please put up your hand if you recognize 2 or more of these characteristics in your happy moment. Put up your hand if you recognize 2 or more. Look around, look around, look around. It's great, thank you. When I ask this question in audiences all over the world for 1,000 people, more than 900 people put up their hand and say, I recognize these things in my happy moment. Why do we do always the opposite if we know that this makes us happy? Why are we running around in shopping streets or buying Christmas presents if we know that money will not buy happiness? Why are we living in this kind of culture of routine, doing everything the same, standing up, getting up in the morning at 7, driving to work the same route, having sex in dark at night, always doing the same kind of thing? Why don't we surprise each other? You can't surprise yourself. Someone else has to surprise you, of course. If we know that other people are that important, why are we living in that world full of egoism, thinking about me and me, myself and I? And if we know that positive feedback is that important, why are we always ready with the criticism, with the red pen, with all the remarks everywhere? Why are we doing that? Why don't we change this? Because we know that we won't get happy from this kind of things. And we can change this. There is another world possible, and we can give each other more positive feedback, more interest, more surprise, and we can empower people. It is about empowerment. I myself, I'm born in a small village in Belgium. I never dared to say where it was. There was nothing. There even was no school. My father built one, but it was not in time ready, so we had some lessons in our living room. A mess. So, but my father was a salesman. And he took me to small grocery shops in the province, and when I was a boy of 4 or 5 years old, they turned an old vegetable box upside down. And I was standing on it and I recited poems. I was good in that, my father told me. You're good in reciting poems. And then I got an ice cream. I've eaten ice creams, my God. But they have empowered me as well. They said, you're good in it. So when I'm traveling the world now, I imagine that I'm just doing the same thing as when I was 4 or 5 years old. They've turned an old vegetable box upside down. I'm reciting a poem. And I hope I get an ice cream afterwards. That's the way it works. That's the way it works for all of you. What have you learned in your life? You're that beautiful, nice, kind people. Where have you learned these things? Thanks to people who have said to you, you're good in it. You're good in that. You're an ambassador of creativity. You're an ambassador of courage. You're an ambassador of humor. You're an ambassador of interest. Everybody has some talent, some strength. But we haven't used these words. We don't learn that. We are teaching kids, don't behave, instead of looking for their dreams, for their talents. And I was very lucky and happy that the European chairman, Herman van Rompuy, sent my book to all world leaders for a New Year's gift in January. And so Barack Obama has got my book, and I've signed for that he has got it. He has not signed that he has read it, but he has signed that he has got it. It was a diplomatic service. So there is a letter accompanying this to all world leaders, in which we say, well, we know that the cynics will immediately laugh at that. What do cynical people do? I've met so many cynical people, and you know cynical people as well. What does a cynical person say? A cynical person says, see how intelligent and clever I am, that I can kill all passion in you in 30 seconds. That's what a cynical person said. That's a very easy one. That's a very easy way of life. Why do we always listen to the cynical people? When someone has some negative words, we always listen to him. Yes, there is criticism, there is negative things. Let's listen to him. When someone has positive news, we laugh and say, okay, go away, you are naive. Well, it's not true. There are more optimists in the world than pessimists. But the pessimists make more noise. So, why don't we change this? And we ask the optimists to make more noise. And positive thinking is no longer for drifters and dreamers. That's in the letter to all politicians as well. It's a science. It's positive psychology. It's knowledge. It's statistics. It's not only a dream. And so when we know this kind of things, we can change things. The United Nations have, for the first time in history, United Nations have published a report on happiness. And that's full of statistics, and we learned quite a lot. We know we have learned the past 10 years quite a lot. Positive psychology has changed psychology, because psychology has been focusing on what makes people ill, what makes them sick. But the opposite of unhappy is not unhappy, but that's not the same as happy. So why are we studying always the sicknesses and the schizophrenia? Why don't we study what makes people happy and try to broaden that insight? And then we can go, for instance, in politics, for gross national happiness instead of gross national product. That's not a stupid idea. 10 years ago, everybody was laughing at that idea. Now in the United Nations, 1/3 of the report is on this idea. And I just came back from Bhutan. Bhutan is a country in the Himalayas, so probably have heard about that. They have one rule in their constitution. If we don't become happy of this intervention, we don't do it. That's the only thing. If we become happy, we do it. If we don't become happy, we don't do it. There are no plastic bags in Bhutan. They said, why should we? We don't become happy of plastic bags. And that kind of thing is it's a very beautiful country, but it's all about harmony. Harmony between time and work. They measure the hours you work, but they also measure the hours you sleep. So, for instance, in education, it's not only about knowledge, it's about values. So half of the time goes to knowledge and half of the time to values. And that's not a stupid idea. The Minister of Happiness, I thought there was a Minister of Happiness in Bhutan. That's not true. There are 10 Ministers of Happiness in Bhutan. There's a Minister of Happiness in work, a Minister of Happiness in schools, a Minister of Happiness in well-being. The first rule is happiness. So, the Minister of Happiness in Education tells me, well, what are we with engineers who are clever but who are not good? And good means you can cooperate with other people, your values, you can share things, you're not competing, you're helping other people, you do something for the good of each other. Well, that's not a stupid idea. And these guys know, of course, that there are sunglasses now and that there are mobile phones as well, but we can learn quite a lot of them. Not in the spiritual way, but in the way that we can find balance and harmony again. We have seen that the focus on economic growth has not made us happy. You are happier than your grandparents, and you are richer than your grandparents. I'm richer than my grandparents, and you are probably as well, but you are not happier. The statistics of happiness are a flat line, and the statistics of economic growth are growing, and where does it stop? Why didn't we become happy? What do we know about global happiness? The global world, the internet, the whole world around us has made quite a lot of people afraid, because the world has become a complex world. My world was an easy one. I had one school, one village, one library, one teacher, one family. When kids were born now, they have that much family, fathers, they have internet as a whole library, and they travel all over the world. And we have become afraid. We have become afraid. We have become afraid we're running around. We are afraid of the Chinese, we are afraid of the Muslims, we are afraid of the Gypsies, we are afraid of everybody. The answer on globalization is in fact globalization. Globalization is a new word, and it means global in spirit, local in character. And this is an answer. We are living in a global world, but we have to consider that in Slovenia it's different from New York. And we have to take care of the local character of everything. Local in character, global in spirit. And you can build education, global welfare, global media, global economy. That's not stupid. 3 days ago I was speaking at the London School of Economics. And I entered London, I left the train station. Oh, I saw something stupid in Brussels before I left. I passed 3 houses in Brussels to the station, and there were names on it. And the first name was House of Wonders, and the second was Art of Living, and the third one was Public School, Don't Enter. I thought, why don't we change this? Why don't we make the school? The first 2 were shops. Why don't we give these names to a school? House of Wonders. Arts of Living. And why don't we put a mark on certain shops, don't enter today? Won't we live in another world? And then I came out of the station in London, and the first car I saw was a taxi, and it had this slogan on it, don't worry, be happy. My God, I don't like this slogan, don't worry, be happy. I've made buttons saying all over, do worry, be happy. Do worry, something is going wrong in the world, but that doesn't mean that we cannot be happy. We can change things. And one of the professors has learned me the difference between optimists and pessimists to see that in 3 minutes. When I'm talking to you for 3 minutes, I know whether you're an optimist or a pessimist. Shall I learn you this? Shall I teach you how you can see this? You can do this. In 3 minutes, you know whether someone is a pessimist or an optimist. And there is a strong prediction. When you're an optimist, you're happier. I was on the Dutch television and I got 30 seconds to explain my golden rule for happiness. In 30 seconds I couldn't, but I had to. So I can. And then the public could vote on internet, and my tip has won. 46% of the online voters said, you're right. So I can tell this in 25 seconds. Shall I do? This is national television. Huh? Shall I watch you? Okay, wait a moment. You say camera run. There we go. It's scientifically proved that the relationship between happiness and optimism is as strong as the relationship between smoking and lung cancer. When you smoke, you get lung cancer. When you're an optimist, you become happier. And happier people are healthier and more successful in sports, science, politics, and friendship. What are you waiting for? Become an optimist. That's true. And you can see in 3 minutes whether you're a red button or a green button. The red buttons are the pessimists and the green buttons are the optimists. The red buttons are talking about themselves, about the past, and about problems. The green buttons are talking about we, us, the future, and solutions. That's the difference. You're talking about yourself or you're talking about us. You're talking about the problems or you're talking about the solutions. You're talking about the past or you're talking about the future. That's the difference. I see your faces. And I know that you think I know some red buttons in my life. There was a lady coming to me some weeks ago after the lecture and she said, well, the story of the red buttons and the green buttons, that's completely right. But I'm married to a red button. What do I have to do? Well, she has a problem because red and green buttons, it works like a virus. It's a virus. We see that in the statistics. If you're surrounded by pessimists, you become a pessimist yourself. If you're surrounded by optimists, you become an optimist yourself. You know that when you come in at your job in the morning and someone tells you, hello, good morning, have you been sleeping well? Then you can better go home. You can do anything. But if you say, okay, you've been to the haircutter, nice clothes, then the things work. This is what we do. We are each other's red button or green button. And the story is try to connect the green buttons and the red buttons will become irrelevant if you succeed in doing so. But it's a big message to do so because we have seen that certain neighborhoods, certain schools, certain areas are really red buttons. And you can change that by bringing in the green buttons and giving a voice to the green buttons as well. There was a national newspaper that asked me, what is the picture of the year for you? And I've chosen this one. This is the picture of the year, according to me. I don't know whether you see exactly what it is, but it's a shepherd in China, and his dog has died, and he has not enough money to buy a new dog. So he has found a poster, and there is a wolf on it, and he's running around with the poster and the sheep are, and this is the picture of the year, according to me. We are these sheep, and the paper wolf, these are the media, these are the magazines, this is the news, this is the newspapers. They're making us afraid all day. It's enough that one of these sheep turns its head and says, this is not a real wolf, this is a paper wolf. But none of us does, because our society is based on fear. Fear, fear. Newspapers, journalists are focusing on the fear and the negative things. People who watch more television, who read more newspapers, are more afraid than other people. The reality is the same, but they're more afraid. We can change this. Do you know what the opposite is of fear? The opposite of fear is hope. We can change this. Why don't we read hopeful things? Why don't we get hopeful stories? Why are we focusing on these negative things? Do you think the pessimists will solve the crisis? No. There has never been built a statue for a pessimist. The statues are built for the optimists. And in fact, this is not only about optimism or realism or pessimism. Since Barack Obama has been re-elected in the newspapers in America, they've given a new word, and I really like this word. It's about possibilism. It's not optimism or realism, it's possibilism. This is what is optimism, but you do something for the optimism. Possibilism is a combination of belief and behavior. You believe in something, you believe that things will go out well, and you start behaving like that. You act. What is a goal? A goal is a dream plus a verb. A dream, and you add an action to it, and you become into action and you set yourself goals. And this is what makes people very, very happy. And then we need some change. We can't stay the same. I came from Nepal. I did a conference there, and do you know what people say in Nepal instead of hello? Do you know that? This is namaste. Please get up, stand up, everybody, get up, get up. I want you to shake hands to the other person and to say namaste. Say namaste. To shake hands and say namaste. Okay. Thank you. Okay, fine. Stop. Wait. Get up. Wait a moment. I'll tell you what you have said, in fact. I'll tell you now what you have said. No, not shit. No. You said hello. But hello means, when an American says hello, it doesn't mean anything. When in India, Nepal, someone says namaste, it means I bow for the God in you. That means three things. I've seen you, there is something positive in you, and I bow deeply for that. Teachers say that to kids, kids to teachers, parents to children, children to parents. I've seen you, there's something positive in you, and I bow deep. Wouldn't we believe that there is another world possible if we would see the positive strength of people and bow for it, instead of just giving the criticism, the pessimism and the critical voice and the negative feedback all the time? Thank you very much. Sit down. Okay, great. What do we know about... well, you like this kind of things. Okay, we'll do more. Wait a moment. What do we know? You're a great audience, in fact. Yeah. I was a bit afraid if you would understand me, or if I don't sound like an alien coming to Slovenia. But I see in your face that you're... And Lucia, you're still following? Is this okay for you? Okay, then I run now. This will go faster. This is forward now. Okay, I'll run through what we know about happiness. Quite a lot of people think that happy countries have a lot of palm trees and sunshine. Well, this is not true. The happiest countries in the world are Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Iceland, the Scandinavian countries. Do you know how many palm trees there are in Denmark? Not that very much. If we compare, for instance, Denmark to the Netherlands or to Belgium, and we see what is the difference then, it's not the hours of sunshine. It is about trust and equality. Trust and equality. In societies in which people trust each other and the institutions, people are more happy. And societies in which there is more equality between the rich and the poor, between men and women, between races and between different colors, there is more happiness for all of them, for the rich and the poor, for men and women. Equality and trust are the best predictors to be in a happy country. Does money play a role? Well, quite a lot of research on that, and we know if you don't have money, you will not become very happy. When you're born in Zimbabwe, you have a problem. But more money doesn't make us more happy. At a certain moment, when you have enough money to cover the basic needs of food, clothes, house, and your kids sending to school and healthcare, from that moment on, you don't need more money to become more happy. Because more money will create jealousy, competition, struggle. You want things that you don't have and that you will never get. And more money doesn't make us more happy. There's quite a lot of research on that. Is it important to be alone? Some people tell me, I'm happy when I am alone. When there is no one around, that makes me really happy. Is that true? Well, that's not true. We are social animals and we need each other. There was one of the professors who told me, I sent him a message and I said, well, I ask you to summarize everything you know on happiness in 1,000 words. Can you summarize this in 1,000 words? That's 1 page. And he sent me a mail and he said, are you crazy? I've written 10 books and 200 articles on happiness, and you asked me to summarize that in 1 page, 1,000 words. I cannot. I said, my God. And 2 weeks later, I got a new mail from him, and he told me, well, your question has triggered me that much, and I've been scratching, and I succeeded in summarizing everything we know about happiness in 2 words. 2 words. Now you're waiting for these 2 words. Well, there should be a reason why you should buy that book. Okay, my father was a salesman, I told you. No, I tell you these 2 words, but if I tell you these words, you will say, I knew already. But now you don't know yet. You don't know yet. Here they come. I don't tell anything new. These 100 professors of all the countries don't tell anything new. It's not a problem that we don't know what to do. We don't do what we know. Shall I repeat that? Because you're writing that down. I have a book as well. There's no problem, but you may write it down. I'm very glad that you write it down. And I'll repeat the sentence. It's not that we don't know what to do. We don't do what we know. You know that quite a lot of these things that all these professors and that I am saying, your grandfather knew, your grandmother knew. It's not that problem. We don't do what we know. And the professor told me I can summarize it in 2 words. And here are these 2 words. Other people. It's not about myself, it's about the other. It's not about things. It's about people. Other people matter. This is the basic thing and the secret of happiness. Does it help to watch television? Quite a lot of research on that, quite sure. People who watch television are unhappier than people who don't watch television. So please switch off the television set and you will become happier. Are young people happier than older people? When you watch publicity, you start believing that when you watch Coca-Cola publicity, the young ones are the happy ones and the older you become, the unhappier you become. Well, that's not true. The statistics show that young people indeed are happy till 25 and 30, 35, 40, and after 50, 60, you mostly become happier than you were in the beginning. So there is hope for us all. Does it help? Does it help to do nothing, to lie in your hammock for the rest of the day? Well, quite a lot of lottery publicity wants to make us believe so, but it's not true. We want to work on our happiness. We don't want to sleep the rest of our life. We want to set goals, to realize step by step our goals, and that is exactly what makes us happy. They made us believe that happiness is a kind of butterfly that comes and sits on your shoulder, and one day you will become happy because the butterfly will come. My God, the butterfly will never come. The butterfly is not stupid. He knows that we don't have nectar in our body. He will not come. So don't wait for the butterfly. You can work on your own happiness. And publicity knows very well how to do this. When you're watching commercial television, you've seen in 1 hour 1,000 times the smile of Danone. It smiles all the time. They know how to sell this thing. Would you buy this product if it would look like this? You wouldn't buy it. It's optimism that sells very well. Pessimism doesn't sell. What's the best sold meal in the world? Happy Meals. This is the reason why watches all over are always pictured at 10 past 10. It's the smile of the Rolex. It's always pictured on 10 past 10. Would you buy it if it was 20 past 7? You wouldn't buy it. It's optimism sells very well. And the psychologists know, some publicity know. You know, this picture of David Beckham has raised the sales of Armani underwear with 300%. And you know that the photographer who has taken this picture has admitted that they have used a chicken breast for this. Because when you watch David Beckham in reality, this is what the paparazzi have seen. I don't know whether you see the difference, but he's having a chicken breast in his underwear, and we have bought Armani underwear for more than 300%. If it wasn't that stupid, you should love it. If he would wear a chicken breast there, he would fall off the boat. The publicity knows very well. Coca-Cola has the best psychologists, and the best psychologists have seen that you know the slogan of Coca-Cola, enjoy Coca-Cola. Well, they have changed it. They never use anywhere in the world the slogan enjoy Coca-Cola, and they explain it on the internet. They say, well, enjoy is something of the previous century. It was about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I hope you have lots of it, but you won't become happy of it. This enjoy is not anymore the most important thing in our new century. They found out that there are two new words that make us drive, that make us do the things we want to do. It's not enjoy, it is hope and happiness. And they made a new slogan worldwide. Hope and happiness, and you hear open happiness. In fact, you open a bottle of poison, but they make you believe that you open happiness. And this is because they know that hope and happiness makes us do things. The slogan of positive psychology is think positive. Think positive. Do you know what the new slogan of Lipton iced tea is? Here he comes.
Drink positive.
Drink positive. How can you drink positive? That's stupid. But I know that positive thinking, hope and happiness makes us do the things. If we use the knowledge of these psychologists, we can be very clever. We don't have to buy Coca-Cola and Lipton iced tea, but we know that hope, happiness and positive thinking are the things that makes people drive. So, why don't we choose for that? There's quite a lot of good research on the Olympic Games. We have done research on the micro-expressions of the people who smile. The silver winner, the golden winner, or the bronze medal. Do you know who is the happiest one? We have done quite a lot of research, and there's quite a big difference between the golden one, the silver one, and the bronze one. Who is the happiest? Who thinks the golden medal winner is the happiest? Put up your hand. Put up your hand. No one? One? Okay. The silver one. Who thinks so? 1, 2, 3. The bronze. Who thinks so? Okay, thank you very much. Well, what do we see in research? There is a very huge difference when we see the happiness of the people. Of course, the golden medal winner is the happiest one. Of course, when you set yourself a goal and you work step by step to that, and you finally get your goal, and everybody appreciates you, you become very, very happy. But the research shows that the silver medal winner is not the second happiest. He's as happy as the 7th or the 8th. The second happiest is the bronze medal winner, because he compares to all the rest who has never reached the stage, and the silver medal winner only compares to that only one who I got the second, and I could have been the winner. So, what do we learn from that? In your life, please try to be the golden medal winner. Set yourself goals, try to realize them. But if you don't, and if you're walking your life, and your life is a nice journey, choose to be the bronze medal winner. Don't compare to anyone who has always something bigger, nicer, chicken breast in his underwear and everything. Don't compare to this one who is always something bigger and larger and smarter than yourself. Compare to all the others, and you will become a very happy person. In the Netherlands, there came a grandfather to me after the lecture, and he said, I have 8 grandchildren. And he showed me a picture of a 13-year-old girl, and he said, I have 8 grandchildren, and this is my favorite grandchild. She is born blind, but when I walk with her through the woods, I smell more, I hear more, I see more, I feel more. She's the pearl of our family. This man had learned me a very important lesson. He could easily have said, I have 8 grandchildren, and this child is the problem of our family. It's born blind. He didn't say so. He knew that he could not change reality. He could change the way he looked at that reality. And that was his perfect personal choice. And that made him happy. Because all the happiness research shows that it is not about pleasure. We thought that it would be about pleasure. It's not. It is about satisfaction. Are we satisfied with the life we have? And active satisfaction is based on 5 elements. That is, first, the quality of our relationships, our family, our friends, our colleagues. Second, our health, but opposite of what we thought. We thought that healthy people were happy. No. Happy people are healthier. You know quite a lot of people who are not healthy, but who are very happy. And people who are very healthy who are not happy. So, happy people live longer. Optimists live much longer. So stop jogging and going on a diet. Just become an optimist. You will live longer. You will live longer and love longer. Work is important. People who don't have work are not happy. Even a bad job is better than no job, because work gives meaning to life, structure to life, and social cohesion. So for governments, working on work is very important, because this is giving meaning to life. Money is important, but only to a certain level. When there is more money than you need and a bit more, then you won't become more happy. And personal freedom is important. Are you free to do the choices you want to make, or to marry the person you want to marry, to study the things you want to study? That really makes us happy. This is the most beautiful wedding party picture I've seen in the past months. It was in the newspaper. Everybody seems to be very happy, and this one is looking for happiness. Because kissing and hugging and touching each other before they leave their house in the morning, they tend to live 5 years longer than other people, and they cause less traffic accidents. So kiss each other, touch each other. It brings oxytocin in our brains, and it really helps us. And then we can go for a movement for happiness. That's not a stupid thing. Worldwide, we can go for a movement for happiness. I myself have been speaking to 50,000 people the past 1 year. And when they spread it each of you spread it with 20 other persons, we are already with 1 million. And then they spread it to another 10 million. And then we can go. We can spread this virus. This is the choice we have, and the message we have, to spread the news and to go for a movement for happiness. There's a very good website, actionforhappiness.org. So everyone who's writing, you write there, actionforhappiness.org, and you get all the advice how to improve your personal happiness and to make your family and your friends happier. Because what I try to do in the book as well is not only informing people. That's why I travel the world as well, to inspire people. And this is what the book is about. And I invented a new word. Lucia, I'm going to use a new word. I don't know whether you will translate that well in Slovenian. It is infospiration. It's information and inspiration in one word. And this kind of book is about infospiration. It's information that will inspire you. Infospiration. And I think that's the future of good books as well, to give a reflection and to give a window to come into action. And we can go for a movement for happiness. Worldwide, I meet people, young people, drug addicts, young criminals, teachers, everywhere they are inspired by these ideas to set new priorities in our economy, in our society, and to change things. And then we can become active citizens. And talking about active citizenship, you need the 3 C's of active citizenship, is challenge, capacity, and connection. It's not only challenging people, we also need the capacity. We have to be informed, we have to find the words. Words create worlds, and we can only have this when we have the capacity and are informed and you read about these things, and to be connected. You cannot change things on your own. You have to be connected to other people. And the basic thing in positive psychology is self-determination. It's not telling your kids, wow, you're great, wow, you're good, your workers, wow, you're perfect. No, 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 no. This is not what it is about. It's about self-determination. I am responsible for my own life, and I can change things. And this is the three basic elements of self-determination are autonomy, competence, and connection. You make people autonomous, you make them feel connected, and you give them the competence, the right person on the right chair. And then we can go for a real different world of happiness. I think I have to stop. Do I have 5 minutes? They asked me to give you some advice as well that you can use in your life. Just don't talk about the theory, but give some straight advice. I'll give you 5 advices. People who smile are happier. I'll do an experiment. Please, I ask you to start smiling for 30 seconds, and I make you do something else while you're smiling. But keep on smiling, okay? Are you there? 30 seconds. Smile. Okay, smile. Keep on smiling. Keep on smiling. Keep on smiling. Think now about something negative. Think about something negative. Keep on smiling. Keep on smiling. Think about something negative. Keep on smiling. Think about something negative. You won't succeed. You won't succeed. Most people can't think about something negative when you're just smiling. This is a very important experiment. It shows that our body gives a signal to our brains. Everything is fine. Everything is under control. And then you even can't think about anything negative. So if you're fed up with something, just start smiling. And you forget about it. I don't give you the advice now to run around like clown Ronald McDonald or something like that. You just don't do the stupid things. But it shows that a positive attitude changes our brains as well. Be flexible. Everything changes, but you can protest against the changes, or you can cooperate. Flexible people are happier people. Become a volunteer. People who do volunteer work are happier than people who are paid for their work. So become a volunteer and you become the double as happy. And as very important is to have good friends. Take good care of your friends. Look up, find the old friends back, take good care of your friends, find new friends, not only on Facebook, but also in real life. We did some experiments on Facebook, that people who are smiling on their profile photo on Facebook have more friends. And these friends are smiling more. People who are like this on Facebook have less friends, and they are looking negative as well. So it really was spreading like a virus, even on Facebook. But the most important thing is not a Facebook friend, but the real friends. The quality of your relationship, that's the basic thing in happiness. Other people, and you are someone else's other person. And then I want to change with, I want to finish with one thing I wish to give you in the journey of your life. Because life is a journey. And a tourist doesn't know where he has been. A traveler doesn't know where he is going to. If you need something on the journey of your life, you need this thing. It is a telescope. A telescope has dramatically changed the way we look at the stars. A pessimist focuses on everything that can go wrong, and paralyzed by fear, he even doesn't come into action. An optimist focuses on all the possibilities and adventures that he can see at the end, and driven by hope, he starts moving. And he finds out that a telescope has an enormous characteristic that you can drive, that you can turn it around. Because when you look like this at something that might be a big obstacle, maybe it's just a small obstacle, it's just the way you look at it. A pessimist focuses on who he is. An optimist focuses on who he might become. To a man with a hammer, everything looks like a nail. To a man with a telescope, everything looks like something that can be seen from a new perspective. I wish you a very good telescope in the journey of your life. Thank you.
Mr. Bormans, I wish to thank you for this very entertaining and also very insightful lecture. There's only one thing left I'm really curious about.
Is it a negative thing or a positive thing?
Neutral.
Okay, that's
Okay.
possibilism.
What is actually the story behind your mission? Is there a personal background of you engaging in this mission, spreading the hope, spreading the optimism, the faith in optimism around the world?
Well, I must admit that journalists often ask me this question, and they want to know what has gone wrong in your life somewhere? When did you go get that hammer on your head? When did you get that sickness of optimism? This is that kind of question. Why don't they ask this to all these critical people in the news all day long? Why are you always this pessimist? Why? Where did you get the knock on the hammer with the hammer? No one asks that. When you are an optimist, they think something. This man has got a divorce or a chemotherapy or some strange event, or he has seen the light of the Buddha. I've not. I'm an ordinary man from an ordinary village, and I'm a journalist, and I'm thinking about life, and I just want to be happy, like everyone wants to be happy. And there came a lady to me, I can tell you some story. There came a lady to me some weeks ago, and she had seen me 3 times already. She had followed me somewhere, how, I don't know. And she had seen me 3 times, and she said, Mr. Bormans, she said, I've seen you 3 times now, and I watched you before the show and after the show, and you're talking about happiness. But you yourself, she said, you look so melancholious. And I said, so sad. I said, oh my God, melancholy and sadness is just the mirror of my soul, I can't help it. No, she said, you have to follow lessons in color psychology. Because the color of your shirt doesn't fit your face, and when you wear another shirt, you will be happier. I thought, my God, I'm still wearing the same shirt. And I'm a bit melancholous, but nothing was wrong with that. I have to write on sadness as well. And it's not because you make chocolate that you eat chocolate every day.
But please, Mr. Bormans, be happy with staying with us for a few more minutes, so that people may come to you, may, for example, ask you to sign their book.
Yes, of course. Yeah. I still have one present for you.
Yeah?
Yes, this is one word. And the word is the secret of happiness, in fact. If you use this word, you will stay happy and make other people happier. If you use this word. I've learned it because I followed a course in positive brands. What is a good brand and a bad brand? Why is Coca-Cola and Nike and Nokia so successful and all the other brands they are not? Because they succeed in combining one word to their brand, to their name. If you succeed in combining this word to your brand, you're a brand as well, and we are a brand. Each of us is a brand, a kind of model for other people. If you don't forget this word, I paid $1,000 for this course. And it's only at the end they said, this is the secret. If you combine this word to your brand, to yourself, you will become happier and you will make other people happier. Shall I give you that word?
Please.
Okay. $1,000.
No, I meant...
Oh no, I'll give the word, and I'll give the word. And I found out that after all, when you see the English word of this, it is the same basic linguistic word as the word namaste. There is a God in you, and God is in Latin and in Greek, Theos, Deus. It's hidden in this English word as well. Here comes the word. Don't lose this word. It will save your life and you will become happier. And it's the namaste for you. I bow for the God in you. Enthusiasm. Enthusiasm. Don't lose enthusiasm in your life. Thank you very much.